Welcome to Beyond the Mask. Today's episode shines a spotlight on something we're seeing more and more: CRNAs stepping outside the clinical space. What's it like to transition from the OR to entrepreneurship? What challenges do CRNAs face when starting a non-clinical business? And what does it take to succeed? In this episode, we sit down with a fellow CRNA who's taken that bold leap, sharing the story behind their business, the motivation that sparked it, and the lessons learned along the way.
CRNA Financial Planning is a sponsor of Beyond the Mask podcast. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as investment advice. Plus, did you know listening to our podcast can earn you Class B credits? For details on how to submit, visit the CE credit section at beyondthemaskpodcast.com. Welcome to Beyond the Mask, innovation and opportunities for CRNAs and advanced practice nurses, with certified financial planner Jeremy Stanley and CRNA Sharon Pierce. Jeremy Stanley has worked with CRNAs for more than 23 years, and Sharon Pierce is a former president of the AANA and the NCANA. Join us as we leave the operating room and learn the latest in the CRNA and advanced practice nurse industries. Beyond the Mask starts in 10, 9, 8, 7.
And I have a surprise guest in addition in here with me. Larry, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Larry Sears. I am one of the four hosts of Grade 1 View. That is the podcast under Beyond the Mask for future CRNAs by future CRNAs. I am a senior, and I am excited to be here.
And I made him roll out of bed extra early this morning after the party with a purpose. So
I did party with a purpose.
Yeah.
And
So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
I used to be one of them who was there until the lights went up, but oh my gosh, if I can stay up till the sun goes down, I count myself lucky these days.
Right. You're 28 now. You can't do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm 28. There you go. Well, our guest today is Joshua Olson. And Joshua, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're here to talk about today?
Sure. I'm a CRNA. Been a CRNA for over 10 years. I'm also the program director at the University of Detroit Mercy. And I'm also the co-founder of innovate, which is a learning platform designed for CRNAs to earn CEs and for residents to pass their boards. It's a gamified, Duolingo-inspired platform.
Duolingo.
Did you play Duolingo before?
No.
No.
Well, I have an 800-day streak on Duolingo.
800 days?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive.
Okay, y'all are talking above my head.
Yeah, Duolingo is a gamified learning platform to learn languages. Actually, they have chess and math now.
Mm-hmm. Music, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it uses all these evidence-based strategies in the background, but you feel like you're playing a game as you do it. It's very relaxed, very enjoyable and engaging, but you can learn a language. You should try it. It's very fun.
You're going to have to show me. I'm not a gamer.
I'll download it on your iPhone when we're done.
Okay.
Give it a whirl. I mean, I think they have over 1 billion users, so people are really using it. It's pretty fun.
Well, I think I've been terrified to do that to get one more addiction.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally, I get
it's
it.
a healthy
You get a
one,
bit of time. Yeah.
You know,
I started using it
because to do.
Totally, right.
Lots of
The first
stuff.
time I used it, I have so many patients that come for OB, especially that speak another language, a lot of Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could probably learn some of this, and that's how I found Duolingo. And I was like, well, this is fun. What are you learning? What language are you learning?
I'm doing Spanish, but I also recently started to do chess because I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing that. I'm doing both.
Have you started actually playing chess with anybody?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've always kind of, I know how to play chess. I was just trying to, get a little bit better, more strategic and stuff. And it's been really helpful.
Yeah. I like to check the chess part out. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, y'all are making me scared. So tell us, what inspired you to step outside the clinical world and build something of your own?
This actually stemmed from my students. My students did a DNP project on the use of spaced repetition. Are you guys familiar with that, spaced repetition? Like Anki?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, no.
Yeah, okay. Spaced repetition is the idea that the human brain does rarely learn something by hearing it or seeing it one time.
Oh, we knew that.
Yeah,
Seven times.
Right, totally. So you got to do it over and over and over again. Unless it's something that's very powerful emotionally, then that's different. It can be stuck in your brain if it's an emotional experience. Otherwise, you got to repeat it over and over again at longer and longer intervals. Your brain needs to process. You need time to process it.
Okay.
So if
I've been married 43 years.
Right.
I get you now.
Right, totally. I always use the example, we have 4 kids, and if I told you the names of my 4 kids right now, the odds that you'd remember those names in an hour are pretty low. But if I told you again in an hour, you got about, you'd probably do pretty well. You'd probably remember for a day. If I told you again in a day, a third time, you'd remember for 3 or 4 days. If I told you again in 3 or 4 days, you'd probably remember for a week. If I told you again in a week, you'd remember for a month. If I told you again in a month, you'd remember it for 6 months. And then every year at a Christmas party, you'd see me and be like, I remember your 4 kids' names.
Yeah.
Because you've embedded it over and over a period of time. That's the project that we implemented with our students, and we had great results, which wasn't groundbreaking. I mean, there's like 50 years of research on spaced repetition, and part of the recommendations were, hey, there's all these other learning strategies that are out there, like gamification, interleaving, active recall. Like, if we could build a tool that had all those and put anesthesia content in that, wouldn't that be cool? We could, use all these evidence-based strategies, and it turns out Duolingo is doing all that. Like, they're already doing that. So it's like, yeah, we could do that. At the time, it was just, this a couple of years ago, I thought I'll get a little grant for like $5,000 from the university and we'll build this thing. And then I met with some software developers and they're like, this is Duolingo is $1 million product, like, to build this thing. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess it's not happening. But I have a neighbor who's an entrepreneur, and he was like, well, I think people would be interested in this. Like, you could potentially do something with this. And so that started this whole journey of like, oh, we could really make this into something that people really want and need. And so that's kind of how this journey started.
Let's go back to Olivate.
Olivate, yeah.
Olivate.
Yeah, people always ask, where does the name come from? Naming a business is harder than naming a child. Because all the names you come up with are already used. They're already out there, and it's so complicated. Actually, every noun in the English language is already in use. You have to create a new word, essentially, or pair words together. So thanks, ChatGPT. ChatGPT came up with Olivate, which is a combination
Isn't that cool?
A combination of my last name, Olson, and Elevate. So Elevate and Olson is
I love
Olivate.
that.
Yeah. Although if you say Olivate, it kind of sounds like ovulate.
Or salivate.
Salivate, right? Yeah. So the pronunciation is key, that it's Olivate, but yeah, that's where it came from. Thanks, OpenAI.
All right. So you've got this idea. What's next?
Yeah. So, you test it. For us, we started kind of like poking around. How can we like build a testable product? This is so interesting. In the business world, they have this idea of something called a minimum viable product, where they say you just like, you try to produce something that gets the idea out there, but is terrible, but at least allows you to test it. And it's such a weird concept to me. Because, in our world, you try to put your best forward every time. Like you practice and you study and you prepare. And if I'm giving a lecture, I work on it for hours and hours and weeks to prepare a lecture. And it's pretty much as good as it's going to be when I give it. And then maybe make changes. Not true in the business world, which is surprising. They say you should be embarrassed to get your first product out there. It should be like, I don't really want people to see it, but I got to get some feedback. And so that's kind of how we started. We said, we got to get something out there to start testing it. So we hired a development team, software development team, to help us build something. At the same time, Room 8 was launching their first pitch competition. And so we had this idea, and they at the same time they were launching this pitch, and we said, well, let's see if they're interested in,
You're
us.
saying who's let's?
Well, I guess my wife is my co-founder.
Okay.
April Olson. She's really a business person. I'm not a business person in any way. She really is. So when I say let's, that's the let's in my words. So we applied. We applied to the Room 8, and we were accepted as a finalist, and then we won the audience award last year. And now I'm hosting the event this year.
The MC?
Yeah, I'm the MC.
I'll see it this year.
I'll see you there. Yeah,
Full
it should
circle.
be really fun. Yeah. So for everybody that's interested, the pitch competition is like a Shark Tank style pitch competition where CRNA innovators come and pitch their idea to a panelist, a panel of judges who are also innovators. And so they get feedback from the sharks and also from the audience. So I did that last year.
That would be stressful.
Yeah, it wasn't stressful for me, but I can see where it would be for people. It's exciting for me, but I get where people would be stressed about. I love talking about this idea. It's like all I want to think about and talk about. So I love educating, and so I think about it all. I go to bed thinking about it, and I wake up thinking about it. But I know it is stressful for people. I was we did a rehearsal last night for the 5 finalists today, and they were all so nervous, and which is normal, like a normal human thing, So I think that's pretty typical. But
well, for listeners out there who do not know what he's talking about Roommate, number one, shame on you. We did a whole episode on it. But number two, it's a partnership with the AANA trying to help CRNAs who have wonderful ideas to try and get that out. And the name, speaking of names, do you know where Roommate came from?
It's the 8 founders,
the
right?
8 founders who signed the charter to create the AANA. And so
cool.
That's why it's called Roommate.
That's cool. That's really neat.
Which is very, very cool.
And I'm sure some of your listeners, I know because they're CRNAs, they're all super smart and brilliant, like have ideas. Like there's innovators out there. And roommates, like their charge is to take these ideas that are CRNA inspired and put them into actual practice. Like, hey, can we could turn this into something? And so I'm sure some of your listeners have ideas like that. And I don't want to speak for them because I don't work for Roommate, but they've taken ideas that are literally on the back of a napkin. Like, I had this idea. Could we do something with that? And it's like, yeah, let's think this through. What would this look like? Not every idea works.
Exactly. And CRNAs are natural innovators. The Roxanne McMurray Airway is something we've been doing forever.
Yeah, makeshifting it.
But it wasn't FDA approved. We've all taken nasal trumpets, taken the end out of the endotracheal tube, put it in the end of the nasal trumpet and ventilated. We've all done it. It wasn't FDA approved. Of course, I would say that probably 90% of everything in anesthesia is off-label or not FDA approved. Maybe not that high, but it's a high number. But she took it to market and lived it, breathed it for forever.
And she's one of our judges today.
Yes,
on the panel.
she is. Yeah. She was a mentor yesterday at the hackathon.
Oh,
the
good.
First ever.
She's the right person for that.
Hackathon.
Yeah.
Yes,
she's a great person.
Interesting how I met Roxanne. I was in the Delta Club in the Minnesota airport getting me something to eat before I get ready to get on a plane, and I heard somebody go, Sharon. And I thought, I don't know anybody here. And then I heard, Sharon Pierce. It's you, isn't it? And I look around and I said, do I know you? And she said, I'm Roxanne McMurray. I go, oh, the McMurray Airway. I said, I've heard about it. I've never seen it. She pulls one out of her purse and gives me an in-service in the Delta Club in Minnesota. And we've been great friends since. And actually, she's been on the podcast again because that airway saved my bacon. And the day that it happened, I texted her after the case. I said, your airway just saved my ass. So we did a case study on the podcast. So sorry, we digress. So how has being a CRNA shaped the way you think about business and entrepreneurship?
I think the thing that, really surprised me, I had this idea of the business world, kind of as an outsider, because I'm an academic and I'm a clinician. And my idea of the business world, that was this ultra competitive, angry space where everybody's a bunch of bloodhounds looking for money. And it has been the opposite. Honestly, academia and healthcare is way more competitive than the business space.
I can believe that.
Yeah, I can see that
right?
too. Yeah.
In healthcare, everybody's concerned about the initials after their name. What's my hierarchy? I'm this. I have these initials after my name, so I'm more important than you. In academia, it's all about like, I gotta hurry up and get published more than you, so I can get advanced, and I want to get this assistant professor. It's like competitive. But in the business world, people are like looking to help you. It's amazing. I had no concept for this. I pictured it so differently. But everybody's been so helpful, so collaborative. Every time we go into these spaces with all these startups, they're like, I have a person for you. I want to introduce you to so-and-so. Let me just come and help you. Or I've done this before. I can do it for you. I've been so shocked by that. And so I feel like it's really surprised my dirty image of the business world, that I had for some reason.
I found out that education's dirtier.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. I'm not owning any of that myself, but I do feel that the culture around the education can be ugly. But not in general for CRNAs, but yeah.
Sure. Sure. So what advice would you give to other CRNAs?
If they're looking to start a business,
Sure.
don't do it alone. It's really hard. Like, you can't do it alone. So I feel like people have ideas and they try to go it alone. You can't. It's not sustainable. It's, when you have an idea, it's funny, you always think you want to save it. You want to protect it and say, I don't want to tell anybody because it's such a great idea. And if somebody finds out, they're going to steal it, right? And the funny thing is, if it was so easy to steal, then it's not that great of an idea anyway, because someone's going to steal it later. But secondly, the reason why it hasn't been done, because someone else has for sure had your idea before, is it's hard. It's super hard. And now I had that same thought when I first started, like, I don't want to tell anybody what we're doing because they're going to steal it. But the reality is, it's too hard. Go ahead. I tell everybody, like, what we're doing. Yeah, good luck. Like, it's like, this is all consuming and super hard. And you can't do it alone. There will be days when it's so hard and so dark and you think it's about to all fall apart. And you need someone else to, like, pick you up and say, no. And they're in a good place and they can move you forward. So if you're a CRNA and you have an idea, and I know lots of them do, you should definitely explore it. It's so exciting and so fun, but don't go it alone. Find someone to, like, share that burden with you, because it's hard. It's really hard, but so exciting, like super, super fun.
Are you a resident or CRNA looking to transition into independent practice? Introducing the 1099 CRNA Institute, taught by Beyond the Mask host Jeremy Stanley and Sharon Pierce. This comprehensive educational series provides detailed guidance on business structure, legal and tax implications, and financial management tailored specifically for 1099 CRNAs. Enroll now and earn valuable continuing education credits as you chart a new course in your rewarding career. Remember, that's aana.com/1099 or click the link in the description of today's show. The 1099 CRNA Institute. Thrive as your own boss.
Are you saying like business partner? Is that what you mean when you say find someone to go with you?
Maybe that's an option. There's this huge, the big startup incubator is called Y Combinator. Lots of the big businesses that are in the world today started under Y Combinator. They help businesses get started. They don't actually admit people now without a co-founder. They say it doesn't work. One person just can't pull it off. You have to be it has to be multiple people, at least two people. It's too hard to do it by yourself. So, not even a recommendation. Don't go it alone. It's just too big of a burden to carry. It's fun and you'll love it, but share it with somebody.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
That's a good idea, yeah.
This is a minuscule scale next to you, but when we started the podcast in 2018, it's a lot of work. And when you get your first download list and it's 15 and you think, oh my God, nobody's ever going to listen to us. Yeah. And then, you bounce it back and forth and come up with ideas on how to make it better. And now 7 years later,
there you are. Yeah.
In 125 countries.
In the business world, you had a minimum viable product. Like I think I remember listening to you when you first came out. Was it Randy Moore was your first one, maybe?
Oh, no. I don't even remember. It was about 400 episodes.
Yeah, I remember. It was like 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember when it first, because there weren't a lot of podcasts for CRNAs at the time.
There were only a handful, maybe 2. And I didn't even really know what it was. Jeremy had been asked to be on a podcast. A student did it for his project and then dropped it and then came back to it, John Lawrence. And then the actual history is I was at a meeting, Jeremy was there, and we had done projects together before, and he comes and he says, I think we need to do this, this, and this. I don't even remember what it was. And I said, well, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And I said, but I'm telling you, my kids listen to podcasts all the time. They've always got the earbuds in, and that's how they're consuming content. I think we need to do that. I'm not real sure what it is, but... I think we need to do that. And our historical series, which has over 40 some episodes on it, is by Sandy and Nancy. And I went to them and asked them to tape. They didn't know what it was. Sandy didn't want to do it. And she said, absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. And we talked her into it. And, a little bit of history has been made just with that. But there were some times when, like during COVID, we're trying to get episodes made and turned around in just a few days. And it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. And if you had been doing all this alone, it probably would have fallen apart.
Yeah.
If you and Jeremy together
Sure.
and someone to help you edit it, like that's a team. Now you can make it through those
Absolutely.
hard times. But if you was all on you, it
Yeah.
probably would be gone.
Well,
Shout out to Walter.
yeah,
Yeah, and Walter. Yeah, thanks, Walter.
absolutely. And Ben, who
Yeah.
also does a lot of our work with us. But most podcasts don't last over 7 episodes.
Right. Yeah.
So we just needed to pass 7. And I don't know if you remember the late Steve Mund, but I called him and we had a list of the first 5 we wanted to tape. And Steve told me no. And finally, I got him, and he actually taped 2 episodes with us ultimately. And the only episode, we've only ever had 1 episode we aired twice. And after Steve's death, we re-aired one of his episodes. But I used to tease him. I said, you told me no.
And nobody tells Sharon Pierce no, right?
Only once. All right. So tell us about your experience working with the roommate team, and how did it impact your growth with Innovate?
Innovate would not be where we are today for sure without Roommate. Like, we had a great idea. It really resonates with people. We've had really fast attainment for our users, but we would not be where we are today without Roommate. Roommate's helped us so much with thinking through strategy, marketing, how to pinpoint this to the target audience. It's been so helpful. They've really accelerated our growth. It's funny because when we are in the business world, not the CRNA world, but in the business world, we show people where we've started and where we've come in just a matter of months. They're like, how did you get so far so fast? And a big part of that has been Roommate. It was like, well, we really have this partner, and they've really helped us and accelerated us. And they're like, wow, it's really impressive. Like, people take years to get to where you are, right now. And so we really are owe a ton of gratitude to them.
That's awesome. I'm familiar a little with the app overall, but I'm just a little bit interested in how it's working in your program as a program director, and with your, with your students and residents. Like, how are they utilizing it? Kind of how are you using it in the academic space?
Yeah, I mean, me too. It's all new, so we're still learning. How people are using it. We just launched in April, so we just had our first batch take board exams. Our first batch, people graduated in May and June, and so far, and I'm not making anybody any promises, but everybody that's completed our program has passed the boards the first time, 100% so far pass rate, which, is a small sample size, and it's voluntary. I can't access their board pass rate. They have to voluntarily tell us. But it's been really, actually had a woman 2 days ago, came up to me at the booth, and she said, I've been waiting to talk to you. I graduated in May. I'd never heard of Innovate, and I took boards and I failed the first time. And then my friend told me about Innovate. I did it we have 7,000 questions. And she said, I did your whole platform, all 7,000 questions over the course of a month. And I passed the boards with 100 questions the next time. So she was like crying as she told me.
Oh, man.
She was like, I just
Amazing.
want to come thank you. I was like crying. I was like tearing. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. They mean so much. So, we know that the learning strategies are effective. Like, there's tons of evidence to support this. But it's like, is it actually working for people? That's all I care about. I don't care. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money. I just want it to work.
Well, speaking of money, how much is it?
So there's a monthly plan for the students. There's two products. One's for the students and one's for the CRNAs. The CE product for CRNAs, they're both free. Let me just start there. They're both free. Open access. You can access all the content all the time, anytime. So if you're a CRNA and you want to go through our modules, you can go through every single module for free. If you want to claim the Class A credit, after playing it, great. Then you can upgrade to the plan. And it's basically like the more CEs you buy, the cheaper it gets. I think it ends up being about $10 a CE, Class A CE, if you buy one of our plans.
That's cheap.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah, most CEs, I think they say it's about $38 a CE.
Yeah. So it's on if you buy a package, it's a lower price, But you can play along and you can do them all and see if you like it. And then if you decide, I'm going to go ahead and redeem all these CEs I earned, then go for it. For the students, same idea. It's free. So they can play right now, today for free. You get 10 lives, 10 hearts a day. Each heart represents a wrong answer. So every time you get an answer wrong, you lose a heart. And at the end of 10 hearts, you're done for the day, and it resets the next day. If you want to upgrade to an unlimited plan, you can, but you don't have to. Like, you can just keep playing for free. About 20% of our users are subscribers, and the other ones just play for free, and which is great. I want them to have it. Actually, my hope is that the CRNA version is enough to cover the cost of the students, and then maybe someday it could just be completely free for the students. Or the students get it free all the time.
Yeah, that's a cool model because it's kind of like Duolingo. Like you can do it if you want to do it very casually, but if you want to be more invested and you want to utilize it more, then you can be a subscriber.
That's right. Yeah. So it's up to the user. They can decide how they want to use that. We find a lot of users use it a little bit every day in between cases and before bed. They're like, I'll just do like 20, 30 questions before bed. And then I have maybe a break between cases and they'll pull it out and play and do a few questions. So that way.
What's your conversion rate?
Yeah, about 20%, just under 20. What's funny, the industry standard is 5 to 8% is the conversion rate from freemium to premium. And we're at just under 20% conversion.
And this is all an app.
Yeah, well, we have an app, and it is also web-based. You can go on your browser and play too. I'm an old man, so I like playing on my computer actually better.
Well, so you can see it.
Yeah, I guess exactly right. Yeah, right. So I'm zooming in and everything.
Full.
Yeah, but it's both. Your account syncs, so if you have an account, you can play it either way. So, but most of our users are playing it on their their portable device on their phone.
Are you going to run some kind of study to see? That's some good data.
Yeah.
You could pull the users and their passage rates.
It's complicated. I
imagine
none of the board prep places really can do this definitively because we don't have access to the results. Like NBCRNA doesn't give us the results of how they do on their board pass
you
rate.
can find you a cohort, and I'll give you an example. For instance, I was at some meeting. God knows, I can't even remember. But a nurse. Actually, it was a nurse from Sweden was doing a study, and they needed access to my smartwatch because they had you listen to music a certain amount of time of day, and then I gave them access to my smartwatch for my sleeping patterns. So what I'm saying is there's a way to incorporate them into their study, but they give you their scores at the end.
Yeah.
This is doable. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, and so we're thinking that through, how to best do that, how will be most effective, and really has the vigor to say this is really true.
And work with the foundation. They give out scholarships for such things to do those studies.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I like that. You should be on the roommate. Work with roommate. All these great ideas you have.
I'm the hack girl, the hackathon girl. Now, how are students responding to this new way of learning? I bet the gamification they're all in.
Yeah, that's funny. When we interviewed hundreds of students. Like, what are the issues that you're facing with board prep? And I don't know if you guys can guess. What do you guys think the number one issue students are facing? Can you guess?
I'm there right now. Let me think.
Yeah. What do you think? What are you feeling the most?
Maybe like just like stress or like just kind of
anxiety.
Not knowing where to go. Yeah,
exactly. It's anxiety. It's not like I don't have enough information or I don't have enough content or I'm not smart enough, or it's anxiety. That's the number one thing that they're facing. Like, I just feel anxious. Like, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of content, the time frame that I have. And there's real good evidence for this, that people learn better when they're calm. If you're stressed, it's hard to learn. Which is why, in the operating room, for all of our clinical instructors out there, in the operating room, if you can provide that for the students, what you're teaching them would be better. If you're stressing them out by how you're instructing them, it's not going to be as effective as you're providing a calm environment for them. And it's a stressful job at times, no doubt about it. But that's true for us. Like, we want this experience for your learning to bring you calm, not to bring your anxiety. And I think students sometimes, like, just opening the book, they feel, oh, it's just overwhelming. There's so much. And I feel so anxious. And so this is a way for them to say, I can do a micro lesson right now. I'm going to just do 10 questions and get through it. Okay, I'm feeling okay. I can do a little more. And so I think that's why it's been so engaging. That's why so many people, when they first do it, it's like, oh, I didn't realize I needed this. Like, but I need this, and they start engaging with it that way.
Hi, this is Jackie Rolls, President and founder of Our Hearts, Your Hands, a global support anesthesia community. We'd like to thank all of our prior donors and also say that we are accepting donations, welcome donations, to send a nurse anesthetist or even a nurse from a low-resource country to get further academic education or attend professional conferences or even equipment for some companies. Thank you so much for your support.
I'm pretty sure you heard the book Make It Stick.
Oh,
sure
yeah. Yeah.
That was our very first semester. We read that book, and it was actually a great book, and it kind of taught me a lot about just study habits and how to make things stick and stuff. But I think one of the big things now I'm studying for boards is kind of like what you're saying. Like, are you looking in textbooks? Are you looking at different things like Apex? Are you what are you trying to focus on? And there's just so much, and it's hard, and you feel like you should pick one thing, but you want to pick all the things. So I can definitely understand, like, it's kind of like the stress of where do I even start and what pathway is going to be best for me. So.
Yeah, that's overwhelming, right?
Yeah,
There's so much.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting because I think education is shifting now. It used to be that you went to school because the professor had all the content. If I want to learn it, I got to sit at his or her feet and glean it. That's not true anymore. All the content is available to every single human being on the planet all the time. You can get everything you need to know right now. Like, you can go on ChatGPT or Google and you can find everything right now. You need someone to help you focus it. Like, how do I navigate through this? How do I move through this? What is really important to me? What do I need to focus my time on? That's the role of an educator today. It's not I'm the person that has all the information. Sit at my feet and it's I'm going to help you navigate through this because it's infinite amount of information for you. Let's focus it. And how do we move through that? And that, I think, really calms people. Like, getting their stress down. It's like, okay, I'm not so overwhelmed by this. These 12 textbooks I have to know, and so I think it really is engaging for people.
As somebody who went back to get their doctorate 30 years after they graduated, I had to take a statistics course because the one I took 30 years ago, they said I needed another one. And at first, I was nervous about doing online learning. And I wasn't real sure that I would like it. But it was surprising because what I found is asynchronous, I could get the same content over and over and over. I could listen to it going down the road. I could listen to it while I was folding my laundry. I could do all other kinds of things. And it wasn't just getting the content one time, sitting in front of Sandra Marie, when she wasn't beta blocked and you couldn't hardly keep up with her anyway. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. I like that, what you're describing, that model of you need some human engagement. So having a real live instructor as well as some sort of asynchronous model is a great model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have your students taught you that's influenced your company?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that MVP idea that I tell my students all the time, they're so nervous to start clinical.
Sure.
I don't know anything. I know you're not supposed to know anything. That's why you're going to clinical, to learn this stuff. And someone's going to teach it to you, and you're going to get better and better and better. And when you graduate, you're going to be great. You're going to be a completely independent provider. But you don't have to know everything going into it. And it's funny because I teach that to them. I can say, it's okay that you're not ready to go to the OR, but you're going to do it anyway, and you're going to learn a lot. And I think I've had to teach myself that it's okay. I'm not a business person. I have no idea what I'm doing, and it's okay to go out there and give it a try. And okay, that didn't work. Now let's change this. Let's move this thing around and start figuring it out. And so I've learned a lot from my students. They've really I champion them to do that, and now I'm having to, take my own medicine and my own advice and go do it. Yeah.
So what's the biggest gap in how CRNAs currently earn and learn and retain continuing education, do you think?
I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this too. I feel like it's shifted so much, like Sharon back in the day, if you wanted CEs, you went to a conference.
I did. Right? And I loved them.
Yeah, and me too. I love conferences.
And I still love them.
Me too. I love conferences.
This is my 34th annual Congress.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you're my hero. That's incredible.
I want to beat Sandra Kildese.
This says 35.
Yeah, I think it's actually, they didn't have a 34.
Wait, you have a 30? There's a 35 one?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah,
so I think Sandra Kildese, who just recently passed away, I think she went to 40.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I want
that for you. Yeah.
I want to beat that.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I only missed one since 1990, and it was 1993.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that was the main way everybody got CEs back then. That's not true anymore. You can get CEs, now, with products like Innovate, you can be in the pickup line of your kid's soccer game and be earning CEs. And so everything has changed now to you need to engage people in a new way, which I get. Like asking people to come to a conference is a lot. Like these are humans. They have like, they have soccer practice and, baseball games to take kids to, and they have, doctor's appointments and funerals and weddings to go to. Like we can't expect them to do all the high level commitment. And so having some sort of micro engagement where it's like, I can still stay attached a little bit. These are still my people, but I can't commit to, giving up a week to come or 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the year to come to a conference. So how can we still engage people? I think that's the key thing that we want is like, how do people still stay engaged with, the other CRNAs throughout the country, but as well also with the content. Like how do we keep them like not from getting complacent? And I think the micro engagement is the way. It's like I can't commit to coming to Nashville. Okay, I understand you got a whole life. Like it's okay. Someone has to be in the OR today, and some of us are here and some of us have to be in the OR. There's no way around it. But there's other ways for you to be engaged and still be a part of the profession and still feel like you belong and these are your people and we support you even though you can't be at every conference. I think it's those micro engagements, those touch points and people want that. People want to have a place of belonging, right? You want your people, you guys have found your people. Like these people love you and you love them and are so proud to be part of this profession. Everybody wants that, but they can't necessarily commit to something really significant. And so what are the small ways that we can do that? And I think that's what we're hoping to do with Innovate, but also even like I chair the program committee for our state. And so as we're thinking through our conferences, like what do people really want? Like what's the smallest way they can at least still keep a touch point in with us and still feel like they're a part of who we are? Like we're still part of the CRNA community in Michigan.
Well, these phones have created a society with ADD.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they just don't have an attention span, and when I say they, I mean me.
Me too. I set mine away for 24 hours a week. I'm like, I just got to put it away because it's killing my brain. It's destroying my brain.
Because I used to be an avid reader. I can't sit still long enough to even read a book. I've had to switch to audio. Now, my whole life has been audio since 2018, so that may have a part of it, and there may have been a little bit of aging process in that, but I just don't think people have the attention span.
Yeah, you got to fight for it. You have to fight for it. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's systemic. Yeah, for sure.
As we kind of wrap this up, what would you like to leave our listeners with, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the CRNAs out there. There's so many of you out there that are brilliant. You're all
of them.
Yeah, if you're a CRNA, you obviously are brilliant. Actually, we're going through admissions cycle right now. And I always joke, like, I would never get into CRNA school today, right?
Same.
These people are so incredible, like, it's like, wow, you get hundreds of applicants for just a couple dozen spots. And it's like, and people email me after, why didn't I get in? It's like, you're awesome. I would love to give you a spot. I don't have enough spots. There's so many good, you guys are so incredible. They're all so smart. And if you have an idea, like, run with it. If you have an idea, like, go for it. Like, see, just take that step, and if you're interested in something, maybe the business world's for me, or I want to change patient outcomes, maybe talk to somebody at Roommate, maybe take a step and like, you don't have to jump all the way into the pool, maybe put a toe in and see like, okay, what would this take? And what would this be like? Is anybody interested in this idea that could work with me? But, I know there's so many smart people out there. I mean, the CRNAs, it could change the world, or and I guess in some ways do already, but it could change the world with other innovative ideas. And so if you're a CRNA out there and have an idea, go for it. Like, give it a try.
And Larry, what would you have to say to all of this?
I would say this is super exciting because I love this idea of, the gamifying and just kind of being able to have like these small bites and just digesting information. And like you were saying before, we're kind of in a world of kind of, it's difficult to pay attention to things for long periods of time. So I think this is like a really cool product, and I think a lot of people would be able to utilize it. And I'm super excited. I'm going to do it because I'm studying for boards that are coming up in December or January.
Yeah,
so.
Good luck. You got this.
Good luck.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everything that you are doing. And I think Larry's going to help me figure out how I can get on this.
I got you.
on this thing. Reminds me of when podcasts first come out and we would speak at meetings, and what we would do is the older CRNAs would raise their hand and the younger CRNAs would go up to their phones and teach them how to subscribe to the podcast. And actually, our demographic is moving to the right. The age is shifting to the right now that they're learning about it. So who knows? Do you know anything about your demographic that is on your platform?
Well, our first product has been towards, the residents and students. So it's all young people, right now.
Ours was 18 to 34, I think, when we first started. Now we're pushing to the right.
We just launched the CE product, and so that will change our demographic for sure. So this will be a lot of people that are a little older. But
nice.
Yeah, we'll find out over time.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
Congratulations and thanks for everything you do.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's a wrap, and Jeremy, you missed this one too.
Tisk, tisk.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Mask. If you enjoy the show and want to help us grow, the best way to support us is simple. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, share the show on social media, and tell your friends. Your word of mouth is what keeps us going strong. We're proud to consistently rank in the top 50 medical podcasts nationwide and to be #1 in the CRNA community. All thanks to listeners like you. Your support helps us stay there, and we couldn't do it without you. We'll see you on the next Beyond the Mask.